This is a video that really I did not want to make. But over the past couple of days, I have seen dozens of videos from players that have been longtime players. And for the most part, they are absolutely furious with Anton, or whatever his name is, Mr. Yuselev. I just have absolute inability for the complete lack of comprehension that the management at Gaijin has for their own game. Just be advised, Anton, your company no longer resides in Russia, number one. You moved to Hungary. I'm not blaming you. You wanted to get around the sanctions that were put on Russia. Good deal. Here's the problem. We aren't a bunch of Russian peasants. The rest of the world has very good education for the most part. We're not stupid. We know how these free-to-play games actually work. Unlike you, who thinks that we're a bunch of Russian peasants who don't know a damn thing and have to be led by the hand for everything just because you went to university. Here's reality. We know what you're doing. You're lying. Or you're just completely bamboozled by your own creation and have no idea what you're doing in the first place. And that's a problem. Player progression is essential. You can't give a player everything at once because it will overwhelm and make the game very difficult for them. And they will just leave it either immediately or almost immediately. Okay, all halt, all halt, all halt. Nobody asked to be given everything immediately. But they didn't ask to be given a game where it takes you years to progress through all of the different tech trees to get to the good stuff, which you seem to have forgotten in the course of 10, 11 years. And you have forgotten that. I was here when there were 20 ranks and the top tier jets were the F-86A-5, the MiG-15, the Me-262, the Meteor, and the only jet bomber in the game, the Arado 234B2. And it was quite a struggle to get through the tech trees back then. And it was only aviation. That's the thing. Now there's aviation, ground forces, naval forces, and then you've got United States, Germany, Soviet Union, Britain, Japan. Oh, by the way, Japan didn't have a tech tree, even though they were planning on it when I first joined the game. China, France, Italy, Sweden, and Israel. We now have 10 separate tech trees. 10 separate nations, let's say. And then you have ground forces, naval forces, and aviation, and helicopters. Oh dear God, how many different vehicles do you think are in the game? Well, seeing as how you're the creative director, you know how many vehicles are in the game. You just have not played your game from the ground up. And if you doubt the words of my wisdom, play the game from a absolutely spanking new login, where you start out with reserve aircraft, reserve tanks, and reserve boats. See how long it takes you to get to rank 5. Not rank 8, rank 5. Especially the way it's set up right now. It will take you dang near forever. Now, it's been over 10 years for me. And I've done a pretty good job on the aviation field. I did a moderate job on the ground forces, but I kind of lost interest in that when I realized that you had screwed the pooch on the low res, and I haven't gone back since. It really doesn't pay to play in a game where a low res player can outdo a high res player because they can see what the other guy can't. I know. We fixed that! No, you haven't. You haven't. That's just it. And then you've got naval, which, oh my God, it's arcade all around. You're not doing naval properly. You haven't been, you won't be. You're playing World of Warships inside of War Thunder. Don't like it, not going to play it. I collect some of the ships, but absolutely won't be using any of them in game. Then you got helicopters, and I still haven't figured out how to fly the helicopters, so that's something that I really don't get into because it's only used in ground forces. But aviation is my thing. And the thing is, you've got 10 tech trees. And there are individual planes in certain tech trees that are interesting and must get. And in some tech trees, we're dealing with already got it once in another tech tree. Why am I having to grind through this POS again? Not gonna do it. China is the most egregious offender. Israel isn't far behind it, and the French tree literally blew my mind with the amount of U.S. aircraft and whatnot. It's absolutely absurd to have to grind through planes like that again and again. How many Thunderbolts are in the game? Let me see. You got the U.S. and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Thunderbolts. Well, Germany's got 1 or maybe 2 if you bought the first Thunderbolt and then bought the second Thunderbolt. Russia's got a Thunderbolt. France has got a Thunderbolt. I mean, there comes a point in the game where you're looking at all these different planes and you're going, how many times do I have to grind out the same thing to get to something new and interesting? Luckily, France had enough planes that were interesting to grind past the American stuff. And the lack of foldering is very, very annoying. How many Shermans are there in game? Loads. Loads of M4 Shermans of all types. There should be 2, maybe 3. M4 Sherman, M4 Sherman 76, M4 Sherman with the jumbo package. That's it. Boom, 3, done. Instead, we have many more. And the reason you want to cut it down like that is so that people can progress. I mean, how hard is it to progress through the ground forces? Well, according to some people, it takes a lot. And you, Gaijin, are depending upon whales. Well, rather than depending upon whales to sponsor your game, why don't you do something like this? If you buy a premium account for a year, we will folder everything in your trees to make progression a bit faster. You're still going to have to grind out 3 different Shermans instead of 10. You'll have to do, every time there's a really new vehicle, instead of having to grind through 2 BF-109 F2s, well, an F1 and an F2, you can choose to grind either the F1 or the F2 and save the other to come back and grind later. And for those people that are buying the top tier premium, and you know what I mean, it's a rank 7, it's not top tier. It's top tier. The F4S is a top tier aircraft. And it's absolutely stupid to allow somebody who joined the game a week ago to buy an F4S, even if they're half-ass good with it, but the amount of actual learning they have to do before they get really good with it is enormous. Well, I was playing DCS World, so I know all about... No, the games are different. The games are different. And this is supposed to be done for fun. Nobody who isn't at rank 6 should be able to buy a rank 7 aircraft and just jump right into top tier. They're not ready for it. And when they get bohica'd, that stands for bend over, here it comes again, they're going to get ticked and they're going to quit. There's a big difference between props and jets. That's why everyone starts off with a reserve aircraft, which happens to be a prop plane. It's either a monoplane or a biplane. And they're slow. They're highly maneuverable, but they're slow. And it teaches players the basics of the game, the operation of the game. And yes, it all should be folded. Slow the amount of things that have to be purchased or ground out to move ahead. But leave it open so that they can come back and redo and fill in the blank spots. Now, for those of them that want to jump straight to jets, I haven't got any sympathy for them at all. They want to jump into jets and just, yeah, here I am, and there I go, shot down. My son is a very good example of that. Bought the A-10A. And so far, he has been shot down in the A-10A a lot. Got the F-5C and got shot down a lot. He bought the A6 and got shot down a lot. He's not real happy. Of course, he mostly plays tanks. And he has gotten into the top tier there by buying his way in. I don't blame him for that. I don't want to be driving an M4 Sherman that has a pea shooter 75 to go up against a Tiger with a long barrel 88. It's not a lot of fun. It has a tendency to really just tick you off because A, you couldn't see the guy shooting at you, and B, it's just the way it is. Now, I remember playing ground forces where I would sit there with one of the Jagdpanzers with the 75 long gun, and I would be picking off players on the other side of the map. And I remember one 7-kill run where I just sat in one spot and just caught them coming out of the spawn. I gave them a chance to get out of the spawn, but they just kept coming in the same old way. But that was years ago. And that was back before I realized that, well, they could just go down to ultra-low graphics or old graphics card and see me across the map without the bushes being in the way. But nowadays, it's completely different. There's thermals, there's night vision, there's, chaff, there's smoke, There's flares, there's this, there's that, there's everything. There's guided missiles, there's all sorts of stuff. Discarding Sabo, otherwise known as silver bullets. But to get to those goodies, you have to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. Part of that is a learning experience. Part of that is pure unadulterated baloney. It's no fun when you have to work your tail off to do your job for no rewards. Now, that especially goes to like repair costs. Repair costs in this game are absolutely stupid. Well, it's based on my statistics. Statistics go out the window. You've got 5 players playing a certain aircraft, which they all have a kill-death ratio of 100 to 1. And nobody else plays that airplane. So what's your repair cost going to be? Your repair cost is going to be through the roof. Play your bloody game. If you can't play your game, then quit trying to tell us how your game is supposed to be played. We have been doing more in this game than you, Mr. Creative Director. You've forgotten how to play this game. You haven't played this game in years. And if you do play the game, well, hey, you're the creative director. You can get any vehicle you want with maxed out stats because you're the creative director. You have the ability to do anything you want in the game. You can get my free Abrams. You can get my free T-90. You can get my free KA-50 with all the upgrades and all the super whammadine ultra special weapons that kill everything at the touch. You can upgrade your crew for no cost because you're the creative director. Start a new campaign with a rookie team, no upgrades, nothing. And go ahead and advance in that game. And let's see how long you think it takes to get to top tier in one aviation tech tree. Just one. No premium, no golden eagles, nothing. Free to play. You figure out how long it takes you to go from reserve to an F-16 or reserve to a MiG-29. I'm sure you will be shocked at how long it takes you. And I'm not talking about being able to play a couple hours a night. I'm talking about you have no idea how long it's going to take you. I do. It's going to take you a long time. When I first started this game, I had nothing. I had no money whatsoever. I had a computer that had an old video card, which barely was enough to play this game. And I ground, and I ground, and I ground. And I finally got somewhere. I got to that one plane that I wanted to get my hands on. And no, it wasn't the F-86, and it wasn't the MiG-15. It was the Arado 234B2. And that was my grinder. That plane ground me the entire German Air Force. When I got up to that one plane, finally, and then I started working on the American Air Force. And I bought a premium. And that premium was the A2D1. And I ground, and I ground, and I ground. And I got up to top tier in the American tech tree. And it was not a short trip. None of the tech trees I have ground through have been a short trip. I will never grind out China. That's number one. I have not completed Japan because I just can't stand the aircraft. France, I got frustrated with after a certain point. Italy, again, running into more foreign equipment being used in their top tree. I haven't even started really on the Israeli tree. The Swedish tree, I've gotten a little bit, close to half. That's about it. And it just the amount of time you have to dedicate yourself to, and the aggravation you have to dedicate yourself to get past some of what is in these trees is just absolutely stupid. Mr. Ustinov, I know I probably pronounced your name wrong, but you think the rest of us are stupid. Guess what? We're not. Many of us have been around for a lot longer than you have. I should know. I'm 62, and I love this game. I love to play it. But as of right now, because of your foolishness, and I do say foolishness, on looking down on us as players, you can basically kiss my wallet and many, many other wallets goodbye. I'm not going to run your game down. I'm running you down for complete lack of intelligence. Players that play this game regularly love this game. We do not love Gaijin. It takes you years to get your head wrapped around the fact that things you're doing don't make sense. And it's a buttload of negative comments on public forums that you don't control that hurt you. and you know it. Now, I've only got about 100 and some odd followers on YouTube, but more than enough of them actually look at what I produce. I had one video that recently went live and had over 400 views. That's not much compared to a lot of creators, but it's enough. And I don't live and die by likes and comments. But here's a comment that's coming directly for you, Gaijin Management. Rethink your policies on dealing with customers who are not happy with you. Yes, you're in the business of making money. Anyone who's not in the business of making money is an idiot. But when you bite the hand that's feeding you, who's the idiot now? You literally swiped at us saying we're too stupid to know what's going on or how free-to-play games work. Grow up. Grow up. Stop acting like a spoiled child because you've been chastised by your peers. And yes, we are your peers. We're paying you. You aren't paying us. We are paying you. We have the controls. The consumer runs the show. You just put the show on. And if the consumer closes his wallet and puts it in his back pocket and refuses to bring it out, who does that hurt most? You. You, the content creator. Because, hey, ain't no money. Ain't no money, there ain't gonna be no food. Ain't no food, ain't gonna be no vodka. Ain't gonna be no rent, ain't gonna be nothing. And when the bills come due, you'll understand. That's not a threat. That's a promise. You keep treating us like we're stupid, and we're going to start treating you like a pariah. We love the game. We don't like the stupid. And what you wrote in this ignorantly thought out diatribe, and that's the best words for it. It's a diatribe on the 19th of May, 2023 is just a signal to the rest of us that you're too stupid to be paid anymore. You aren't smart enough to realize when you have overstepped your bounds. Just because you have a game that people like to play doesn't mean that they're willing to take shit from you. It means you better wise up. Because if you don't wise up, you're going to go bankrupt. That's all I've got. This is Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow. We'll catch you in the sky in Air Realistic on the good maps, of which Gaijin still needs to create a whole shit ton more. Thank you and goodbye.